Bob Marley lyrics as well in my series For the Love of Music. And this song I'm going to do is Ride Natty Ride. Alright, so as in my other videos about Bob Marley, I just want to point out that a lot of his lyrics are prophetical in nature. He does reference spiritual and philosophical concepts. So this song is no different. Ride Natty Ride. Starting out, the lyrics go, Dreddy got a job to do, and he's got to fulfill that mission. To see his hurt is their greatest ambition. But we will survive in this world of competition. Okay, so that's the first phrase. Well, Dreddy is referring to the Rasta man, or anyone who has grown out dreadlocks to identify themselves with the African spirituality that is known as Rastafari, which really branches off from Ethiopian Orthodox Christianity. And they go back to, they claim the lineage of the House of David, and they claim their spiritual stories going back to the story of King Solomon and Queen of Sheba, which were both African people in Africa. So the dreadlock Rasta refers to someone who wears their hair in locks and lives a natural life. Strictly, usually if you're a really strict Rasta, you eat only organic foods. You don't drink soda or aspartame, or you don't pollute your body with anything that is not natural. So they live a very natural lifestyle. And Rastafari, the etymology of that word, refers to King Selassie as the person who symbolizes that religion and took that title, Rastafari. But Rastafari refers to Ra, which is the ancient Egyptian aspect of the sun, Ta, and Farai, which is the king of the sun, or sun king. Basically, just like Christ, the higher consciousness, or the highest light that a man can embody, or a man or a woman. So he says here, Dreddy's got a job to do. He has to fulfill that mission. And to see his hurt is their greatest ambition. Okay, well, who is they? Who would want to hurt? Who would want to hurt the Rasta man? Well, if you listen and know Bob's message, he's really referring to Babylon. And that's a big word, but Babylon refers to anybody who is an oppressor. And most of the oppressors rule through fear and through deceit. So they would take a holy or sacred teaching, book, scripture, temple, or concept or philosophy, and they would twist it. And they would present it to the uneducated in this twisted form in order to corrupt their minds and keep them unaware of their own spiritual light within, their own soul of man, or Solomon within, their own inner sun, or second sun. And ultimately keeping those people in the dark, or keeping those people away from their own sovereignty, their own self-realization. So he says, we will survive in this world of competition. And then he says, no matter what they do, Natty keep on coming through. Well, Natty is a short term of endearment for Natty Dread, as we already discussed. And no matter what they say, Natty Dede every day, yeah. Natty Dread rides again. Through the mystics of tomorrow, Natty Dread rides again. Have no fear, have no sorrow. Okay, that's the second phrase. So he's saying that the dreadlock and the concept of the natural man who is self-realized and identifies himself in a sovereign way. He says that he keeps on coming through. And when he's saying he keeps on coming through, to me, I read this as he's coming through the mystics of tomorrow. That's what he says. So the mystics of tomorrow mean no matter what culture or religion or philosophy you ascribe to, the Natty Dread, or the natural man that's self-realized, will come through in every culture and will tap into this sacred unity within, this sacred spiritual knowledge. And that knowledge is universal mind thinking. That is basically what Bob Marley teaches when he says one love, one heart. So if there's only one love, everybody is encompassed in that love. Nobody is separated from it. So there's a universal concept, or universal mind thinking, or universal love, which, of course, God is love, right? So why would he or she or it play favorites or create separation? Because as soon as you create separation, you are no longer love. You have just divorced your own self from your own self, giving birth to the ego. Okay, so I digress a bit. And he says, Natty Dread rides again. Have no fear, have no sorrow. Well, that's pretty straightforward. The dreadlock man will always come through. The natural mystic man, the self-realized man, will always come through, so have no fear. Next phrase. All in all you see that goes on is the fight against the Rastaman. So they build their world in great confusion to force on us the devil's illusion. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Pretty straightforward, but he's talking about the devil. And the devil is not just one person. He's saying that those that are fighting against the Rastaman, and in his connotation, the Rastaman is the self-realized man. Those that fight against the self-realized man build their own world on great confusion, which means they fight against him and don't really truly know why. They come out of a place of separation or fear, and so that's what they themselves teach to others, is separation or fear or superiority or inferiority. So all of that is a world of confusion because they themselves are not self-realized men. So if they were self-realized men, they would throw that philosophy out the window and they would be a one love type of philosopher, someone who unifies and not separates. Okay. But the stone that the builder refuse shall be the head cornerstone. And no matter what game they play, we've got something that they can never take away. So here he's saying the stone that the builder refuses will always be the head cornerstone. And that's kind of what I was just talking about. If you come from a separation type of thinking or mentality or philosophy, most people that come from that are in a fear-based emotion. And since they're so deeply in a fear-based emotion, they are unaware that they are even coming from a separation type of mentality. So that is their own cornerstone that they keep refusing because they're unaware of it. And so the cornerstone that they refuse to use or change within themselves will always be the head cornerstone in the building. And the building is sort of insinuated here as like the human being, the human body, or the sacred temple. So like Solomon's temple is actually, is said not to be built with tools or hammer or hand. Solomon's temple is actually the human body. So in order to build the authentic man, the self-realized man, the loving man, you have to be unified in your being, in your whole being. You have to be unified in your thinking, in your emotions, in your psyche, in your heart, in your actions, and in your spirit. And we've got something that they can never take away. And it's the fire. It's the fire. The fire that's burning down everything. Feel that fire. The fire. Only the birds have their wings. Okay, so here he's saying that the self-realized man has something that they can never take away from him, and that is his own sovereignty. That is his own unified being. No one can take that away from you. And even great people that have been imprisoned will speak of this. You know, there's tons of references to this, where someone who's got their freedom taken away physically, but can't be broken spiritually. And this is because of that fire. Now the fire, the reason why he calls it fire and that it's burning down everything is because he's talking about the kundalini, which is the process of contemplation, meditation, right living that actually does change your consciousness. And it's called a fire within. It ignites the loving heart within people, and it creates this passion for unity, or this passion for loving all other sentient beings. And that fire is burning down everything, and it's basically burning down the falsities in your worldview. And he says only the birds have their wings. What he's saying here is that the bird symbolizes higher consciousness because they can fly up high and view things from the eye of the sun and bring back higher knowledge. And since man doesn't have wings, the only way man can get higher knowledge is by this fire within, or raising his kundalini, or changing his consciousness, or changing his being. Then he goes on to say, no time to be deceived. O brothers, you should know and not believe. Okay, so here he's saying, if you just have a belief system, then you don't have the solidarity of knowing what is truth from falsity. And so he's saying you should know and not believe. Meaning you should check your belief systems, do inventory on them, and really, really try to work out whether or not they're based in truth. This process is a stripping away, or an apophatic way of getting to the root of truth. So everything that is seen as false reveals or leaves behind what is actually real or true. Okay, moving on, the next phrase. He says, Jah say this judgment, it could never be with water. No water could put out this fire. This fire, this fire. This fire, yeah. Ride natty ride. Go dready go. So here, the way I read this is, we've already discovered what the fire is, but he's saying the judgment can never be with water because the water cannot put out this fire. I understand, this is my understanding, I understand that a judgment is a symbolic term for measuring oneself and or having to go back and relearn something, or judging oneself and having that knowledge to move forward. So a water judgment is like a baptism and refers to the female principle of birth. So he's saying that this is not an anointing process. This is not a birthing process where you just show up and begin sort of wet behind the ear. This is a process of burning. This is a process of actual transformation. And you initiate yourself into that transformation. So you yourself make yourself or do the work to become a self-realized man. And then he goes on to say, this fire is now out of control. All right, next verse. He says, tell you what, now the people gather on the beach, and the leader tries to make a speech, but the dreadies understand that it's too late. Fire is burning, Man, pull your own weight. Fire is burning. Man, pull your own weight. Natty Dread rides again. So here, pretty straightforward. He's saying, yes, there's people that lead you, that claim to have you in their best interest, and they gather on the beach to make a speech to try to galvanize their own sort of hidden or political agenda. And the dreadies are understanding that it's too late. No matter what they say, they haven't done the work. They haven't done the self-realization work. And so it's too late for them. The fire is burning within. And he's saying to all of mankind, the fire is burning within everyone. Pull your own weight. Meaning, do the work. Realize, take inventory, and look within and realize that you are the divine light and that you are unified in sovereignty, universal mind thinking. And then he goes on to say, go there, Dready, go there. Natty Dread rides again. Rides through the storm and rides through the calm. Oh, ride, Natty, ride. Okay, so that's it. That's all the lyrics. The whole song is about transformation, or the dreadlock, or the self-realized man riding through life and riding through the transformation, riding through the storms, riding through the calm. It's just this song of movement and progress of the self-realized Rasta man. So, hope everybody likes my interpretation. If you have comments or insight, feel free to leave them. Thank you for viewing, and please share. Live up.